I am Jeffrey Villadouin in a Khwarezm campaign from version 2.3.2 of Broken Crescent, a mod for medieval 2 Total War Kingdoms. We are in Game 10-103 in the year 1225 AD. Today, Yunis Khan the Mad will be commanding the garrison of Balkh as the city is attacked by Chagatai, one of Genghis Khan's sons. Although we have a full garrison, it is still depleted from the previous siege, but we had no reprieve. The Mongols are attacking us again, and we just have to snuff it. Chagatai commands a full army full of silver chevrons, and this should be an interesting battle. So we have some Pashtuns near the gate, just above the gate. The Mongols are approaching with a siege towers and the ladders and the siege ram. It is a rainy day, which should hopefully prove to be in our favor. The Mongol units look glorious as usual. And the Mongol siege ram started burning up as soon as it got to the gate, and it has already been destroyed. Nonetheless, the ladders and siege towers are on the way to our walls. The Mongols here in the forefront are shooting arrows at our units on the walls. And some Mongols already come up the ladders here.
Curse the sun that shines on our descent. That thrice cursed siege tower has reached our walls. Hold back the invaders.
We have some spearmen here. It's one of those depleted units of Persian spearmen. They are a decent unit, but in this contest against the Karachu heavy infantry, they're probably going to lose. Because they're armed with spears and the Mongols are armed with swords. We do have the arrow towers on our side, but the Mongol unit is a slightly better unit. Not only that, but there are more and more Mongol units coming up the walls. Some Karachu huntsmen are now coming up the walls. And soon our spearmen here will be overwhelmed by numbers. They're already being outnumbered by far. The walls are being filled up with the Mongol invaders.
Enemy have the walls. Drive them back.
Okay, so the Mongols have overwhelmed us with their numbers. They've probably taken the gate, and this unit has routed.
Cursed vipers cannot engage with their ram.
Yes, the Mongols have managed to get a unit on top of the gate, and so we've lost the gate, it seems. Nonetheless, it's still banging against the gate to try and open it. And we still have some Pashtuns here. They seem to have been overwhelmed by the Mongols. There's still a Pashtun at the back, trying to kill one of the Mongols, I suppose, and the Mongols are shooting arrows at him. There he is. He's been hit by an arrow, but he survived. And he's trying to kill this Mongol that's standing next to the gate. The Mongols seem to have frozen. This Mongol looks like a virtual Mongol. It looks like an apparition of a Mongol. So here we lost the gateway by these Mongolian ghosts. So he's been stabbed half a dozen times. He's been stabbed another 2 times. Just the sword just goes through him and doesn't get killed. Something buggy is going on here. These Mongols are virtual Mongols. This poor guy must be freaking out. What kind of magic is this? He must have cut him through with his sword at least 2 dozen times. There are some more Pashtuns fighting here, and they have been broken. So the Pashtuns here have been totally overwhelmed, like the Persian spearmen on the other side. The Mongols have a much larger army, and they have a better army. So both qualitatively and numerically they are superior to us. A few of those Pashtuns managed to come out of that arrow tower, and they backed out. They have been shot by some Mongol archers. You better run. The 5 survivors of the fighting on the walls are heading back into the plaza. So this is going to be another plaza fight. I wonder what would have happened if we had tried to defend the walls. So here's that poor Pashtun. He's running for his life. He's nearly reached the plaza, the last survivor. And the Mongols have a huge range. They're shooting from the walls into the town plaza. That poor guy must be so glad he has survived. Ooh, he's out of breath. He put his head down, trying to take a breath. He said, "Oh, I survived this. I can't believe it." He's so deaf with his own eyes. So that's a very interesting tactic. The Mongols have put a unit here. It's an archer unit. And they're shooting with their archers into the town plaza. So they're not shooting from the walls, they just put that archer unit there. And it is shooting out the plaza. And now they're bringing some heavy infantry, presumably. So these must be heavy Karachu infantry. And here are the huntsmen. So the huntsmen are behind them. Some of the huntsmen are also running forward. And at the very front is the heavy Karachu infantry. Okay, the huntsmen have stopped. They started shooting arrows into the plaza. And there is just one unit, I suppose, of these heavy Karachu infantry has made it to the end of the street that leads into the plaza, and now we have to put our men together to fight. They have gone into loose formation. They have to go back into dense formation. And it looks like there's another unit of heavy Karachu infantry, and now we're bringing more units here. We brought some Sogdians on both sides. We have these very nice, they're called Mata Tawi, these dark clothed soldiers with the swords. They are Askaris. They're called Askaris when they're mounted. They're called Mata Tawi when they're dismounted. That's a bit strange. Matatawi, from what I've read, were kind of religious warriors, but they were more like a mob. They were just people who just took some kind of stick or knife or something, and they went to war. These guys are professional. They are one of the heavier units in this part of the world. They have shields and helmets. They have very high discipline. They fight like proper soldiers, like proper professional soldiers. So I don't know why they're called Matatawi. Probably someone called them that because another unit was called that. Who knows? Broken Crescent has gone through so many different versions that it's hard to keep track. This doesn't look like one of the original units. It might have been. I shouldn't speak too soon. So we have started shooting with our catapults at the units at the back, the archers at the back, and our Askaris, I'd rather call them Askaris, they are fighting the ones that are nearer into the plaza. And just seems a couple of guys have made it over here. There's one heavy Karachu guy over here at the front, and this spearman is trying to kill him. Looks like he's one of the few, or maybe the last Karachu heavy infantry guy. Is armed with an axe. And our spearman, there's so many spearmen here. Somebody help this guy, please. I mean, somebody's trying to hit him from the back. Okay, there you go. Someone's starting from the back at last. And so we keep shooting with our catapults. It's very interesting, actually. So the Mongols attacked with maybe, what was it? Maybe about 3 units here? 3 or 4 units at most. So the majority of the Mongol units did not attack. And so we repelled this attack. But while they're fighting this way, piecemeal in waves, our catapults cannot just destroy like the entire army. You know, they just have to aim at one unit at a time. So this is an interesting tactic, and while they're just sending one unit at a time, we are forced to have our entire army. Well, we're not forced, but we kind of end up having the entire army here, which is being subjected to arrow fire. There are arrows flying in every imaginable direction from all sides. So our Askaris, or Matatawis, are doing really well. They're defending the front lines very, very well. So as you know, this is one of the heaviest units available in this part of the world. They are very good spearmen, but once they are attacked and they end up in melee, they draw out the swords, whereas these Persian spearmen fight with their spears. They don't have a secondary weapon, they don't have a sword. And now we've brought up some help. Our Sogdians have gone into battle. The Mongols only have a single unit of heavy Karachu infantry here, and now this Mongol unit is under attack from all sides by our heavy units. Where are the rest of the Mongols? What are they doing? So the Mongols have thrown into battle about 4 units so far, 4.5 units, maybe. And there was an archer unit that retreated, half depleted. They got out of sight. They've thrown into battle, I think, 3. What was it? 2 heavy Karachu infantry units. So they're keeping most of their units in reserve, sort of out of sight. It's kind of an interesting tactic. That's the first time they're doing this. We had quite a few sieges up until now. We had also a few sieges by the Cumans. That's the first time I see the attackers, commanded by the AI, attacking in this very unusual piecemeal way. Okay, our men are celebrating. We've cut down this unit to a man. They didn't rout, they just fought to the end. All of these units are triple golden chevroned, so they just won't rout. They are retreating for strategic reasons or tactical reasons, but it's very hard to rout them. I guess once they lose half their men, then their morale will go down. But at the moment, they're fighting to the last man. And so they're sending another unit of Karachu Huntsmen to harass us with arrows. We have all our army in the city plaza, so they make a very good target. This looks like one of those units that participated in the fighting earlier on, so they're somewhat depleted. And another unit is coming up. I think this other unit is a heavy Khwarezm infantry unit. So it looks like another small wave of attack is coming our way. That's another interesting thing. If you watch, some of these heavy infantry are armed with swords, but a few of them occasionally they're armed with axes. That's an interesting thing. I hadn't really paid much attention to this. I don't know what's going on. They all look like archers. For some reason they decided not to use their bows. Now they have attacked us. Some of them have swords, some of them have axes, and they use them in a slashing and stabbing kind of way. So I guess they were given. How does this work? That's interesting. They kind of mix the axe. Is this an axe animation, or is it just the 100 axemen have the slashing sword animation? In any case, it's nice to have this kind of mix. Some of them with axes, some of them with swords. I expect the axes are not armor piercing. I ought to know this, but I can't remember. And so our Askaris are back into the heat of the fight. Sogdians are holding back. I'm holding back the Sogdians because here in Balkh I can retrain the Askaris. So this is probably the only place where this unit here, this heavy unit, they're actually wearing mail. So this is a very heavy unit. So this unit can only be recruited, I think, here, in no other place in the Broken Crescent map. And only some factions can recruit it. You can only recruit it in Balkh. But while you can recruit in Balkh, you can retrain it also in Balkh, whereas the Sogdians can not be retrained here. They can be only retrained in the fortresses. And so I'm holding them back and leaving the Askaris to do the dirty work for now. By Askaris I mean the Matatawis, but they are definitely not Matatawi style, they're more Askari style, that's for sure. Oh dear, some friendly fire here. This is the problem, you see, they only send one unit at a time, and so when our catapults try to hit this just one unit, not only are they wasting their ammunition and just killing a couple of men, but we also get friendly fire. And this damned unit will not rout. This is a very interesting tactic by the AI. I don't know if it's accidental. I haven't seen it before. I don't think I have changed anything since last time about the AI. Have I? I can't remember. I think I've modded a little bit the AI for my submod, but I don't think I added the changes here. Okay, there was another unit coming our way, and our Sogdians turned up, and so this other unit decided to retreat. It's a strategic move. It's interesting they're playing like this. I have not seen this before. What's going on? They have this kind of hit and run approach to this battle. It's kind of they're attacking in waves, and they move back and forth. They send some archers, they pull the archers back. This is a far more interesting battle than just sending everyone down the middle to get massacred by the catapults. It's almost as if the AI has learned. So we've lost 19% of our force, the enemy has lost 29%. So we are winning, but it's not looking that great. it could go either way. And so now the Mongols are coming in with their cavalry, and let's see what their cavalry is going to do. So the cavalry was hanging back all this time. They're just coming into Balkh now. And they just sent a couple of horse archers at the front. Most of them stayed behind the back, behind these houses here, and so we cannot really hit them with our catapults. And it sounds like a few of them are shooting arrows. I cannot see them, but I can hear arrow sounds. Is it the rain that made them fight in this strange way? Okay, so these heavy guard lancers are now coming in. Probably the general's bodyguard is here. Let's see how these are going to fight. Okay, now this is looking somewhat foolish for the AI. Wow, we took about 10 of these horsemen there. We must have taken at least 25 horsemen out with just 3 shots from our catapults. And these are heavy horsemen. These are like the heaviest of the Mongol horsemen. This is like the heaviest unit. Possibly their general is here as well. And we're shooting them with arrows. The arrows do nothing. They get some hits, but nobody's getting killed. Wow, these hits were amazing. I mean, we must have taken out half these lancers, and now they have decided to charge us. But this was like the most pathetic charge ever. So they charge into our spearmen here. Scars on the side to protect. They're using that house on the left to protect themselves from the arrows. So we left only the light units down the middle. We have some Pashtuns here mixed in with the spearmen, so that's actually a good combo to fight against this heavy Mongol cavalry. And the Scars are probably helping a little bit on the side. The heavy Mongol cavalry has been decimated. For sure they lost most of their men. I think there are like about probably less than 2 dozen left. Another one has gone down. Now this is going really well for us. Okay, the Mongols have some light units here at the back. Now they're approaching. They're shooting at us and they're going into melee. So the AI has lost the plot. They're still fighting in this kind of way. They're fighting in waves. That's interesting. And they're sent in some heavy Karachu archers. They're shooting their arrows, but they seem more interested to get into melee for some reason. I'm not sure this is a good idea. Okay, our Sagdians are now going to go into the fray. They have come close to the Mongol archers, the Mongol horsemen, so they don't get shot by arrows.
Praise be to Allah! The enemy's general lies dead. Now his men can sense their doom upon them.
Wow, our men have killed Chagatai. We've killed Chagatai. We've killed Genghis Khan's son. Oh my god. This is either very good or very bad. Looks like the Mongols almost broke through there. But they have heavy Karachu cavalry and they are shooting arrows instead of fighting with their axes and swords. And they are retreating. Tactical retreat, I suppose? Maybe they want to charge us? Okay, they drawn out their axes and swords now. But I think we can hold out. While they're attacking down the middle, they are playing into our game. So our catapults are decimating the enemy. Okay, here one enemy cavalryman, one enemy horseman, a Mongol horseman managed to get through. And our catapults have stopped firing. I cannot see him. Where is he? Okay, hopefully we killed him. And so we're forming here the line. Look at the rain of arrows. There are arrows being shot. They're like coming in every direction. I don't understand. You know, they come from everywhere, even from the left and right or something. But now our catapults are really inflicting really heavy casualties, and the Mongols have totally lost the plot. They send now these no-good cavalry, these light, unarmored horsemen, horse archers to fight in Balkh. Our catapults are now just demolishing the Mongol army. Okay, there are some dismounted heavy Karachu infantry here, but we have our Sogdians. We're definitely winning here. Wow, these catapult shots are so accurate. They're so just bang in the middle. They're doing really well. These crews must be decorated. Some friendly fire, but for the damage we're causing, it's worth it. Wow. Okay, we lost another 2 men from friendly fire, but the Mongols are losing many, many more. Amazing. And part of the problem of these units here is that they have very low training, or so very low discipline, and so very often they end up, even if you have them on guard, they end up just scattering themselves, and then you get individual guys moving too far forward and isolating themselves, and then they end up amidst the enemy, and they get shot by our catapults. So here we have an interesting development. So the Mongols have sent 1 unit over here. There may be 2 units, probably just 1 unit. Over that side, just on their own. So at this point I am sending, I think, 1 or 2 units down that way to protect our flank. And it looks like here in the middle the center will hold. But we're nearly expended the entire time for this battle. It's 57 minutes by now. Less than 3 minutes remaining. And obviously I haven't shown the entire battle because this video is only about 30 minutes long. So you can imagine there was a lot more fighting and periods of waiting and so on. So we have about 2 minutes left. I had a unit here of these Kabuli axemen, and hopefully we can surprise our enemy. I was keeping them behind that corner because they have no armor, but it looks like these guys must have been shooting their arrows, have been shooting their bows from the distance, so they ran out of arrows, and it looks like they haven't noticed we're coming their way. Now they saw us. No, it's a unit of heavy Karachi horsemen. They're archers. It looked like they had shot all their arrows. They're a tough unit, but they're not very good against double-handed axemen. We also have some Sogdians there. And the rest of our army has gone down the middle to attack the enemy in melee because they had now started shooting at us from the distance with their archers. They lost all their heavy units, so they were just shooting at us from the distance, so we had to go into melee. And over here we have a unit of 44 Persian Deacon Lancers. They've drawn out some maces, it looks like. Drawn out the maces, and they've attacked the enemy in the rear. And it looks like we've taken the gateway, so the enemy here is completely surrounded. We have the Deacon Lancers in the rear, we have an infantry at the front. Yeah, and so all these light units are now surrounded on both sides. The only unit that's not here is that unit on the side that we just saw like 2 minutes ago over here, where our double-hand axemen are going... okay, they just lost half their men now. Wow. So the battle is nearly over. So we only destroyed half their army, but we killed Chagatai. I wish we had a little bit more time. So 75% of the enemy army has been destroyed.
Allah, God of us all, be praised. The hour is late, and we have the victory we have striven for. May our foes know no peace.
Well, it was a victory, I guess, but we lost more than half of our men. And the enemy lost to 75%, so 3/4, as that was said. No, we haven't lost more than half of our men. We lost about 40-something% of our men, and the enemy lost 75%. That's a kind of fair exchange, considering the quality of the Mongol units. And our Sogdians did reasonably well, as you might expect. Now, of course, the catapults did did extremely well. We just took a few prisoners, and I think we're going to execute them.
Why? There's no need to kill me.
The Mongols have become much more interesting and challenging for once they took some settlements. It was perhaps a mistake I did not give them a small settlement last time in the campaign I showed in episode 12, just to get them to behave like this. By the way, I will be getting Thrones of Britannia, and I'm hoping to do a Welsh campaign there. Big fan of medieval Wales, so hopefully that'll be interesting. Looking forward to it. And the Mongols right now have launched a kind of blitzkrieg, and we are beginning to feel the strain as our garrisons are becoming depleted and our economy is being depleted in an effort to replenish the garrisons weakened by the continuum Mongol attacks. You can see we only have 5,400 florins left. Originally, at some point when the Mongols attacked, we had 20,000 florins in the bank. And so we're running out of cash. And the Mongols are attacking relentlessly. So that was the end of this episode 18 of the Khwarezm campaign. Thank you for watching.